Hello, I'm Danielle Mercurio, spiritual teacher and influencer. And one of my reasons for being here is to help you live a life so that it actually feels like it's on purpose. And one of my favorite things that I use to help you tap into a deeper sense of who you are is astrology. And I have loved astrology pretty much from first sight. When I was a little girl and I learned that I was a Leo, I instantly fell in love. And astrology became a psychology to me. It helped me understand myself better. And then in time, as I started to explore the other signs, it allowed me to get a better understanding of other people and where they were at. And since then, it's really blown up in a beautiful way. And I love that people are more curious about their sign. They're more curious about going beyond just their sun sign and figuring out their moon or their rising or where the planets were when they were born, to give more information into who they are now and how they can evolve forward. So here we are, it's a new year, and many people are wanting to get a jump start on their goals, and part of doing that is getting more in touch with who we are. And so enter astrology. And a lot of people ask me, Danielle, what are your favorite books? What do you use? How do you know this stuff? Like, where does it come from? So I'm dedicating this video to giving you the top resources to becoming your own astrologist. Now, here's the thing with astrology. It does have a lot of layers. There's a lot of pieces, and it can seem overwhelming. So my first thing that I always suggest to people is to learn the 12 signs, not just your own, but take it further and start to get to know the sign Aries all the way around to Pisces. And once you can do that, you're going to find you already will be gaining a more intuitive flow to the signs and how they relate to each other. Now, my favorite astrologist is a woman named Linda Goodman. She has passed, but I found her through a friend in college, and once I picked up her book, Love Signs, I completely fell in love. And what I love about this book, it's huge, right? Like it's a big one. But what I love about it is it relates every single sign to each other. So you got a crush on somebody and they're a Scorpio, you're a Cancer, she'll tell you everything you need to know. She also does a beautiful opening text that breaks down the 12 signs as well to give you a better understanding. So once you first learn the 12 signs and then you want to play matchmaker and you want to learn how they relate to each other more, Linda does a beautiful job of tapping into that. She also has a book called Sun Signs, which gives even more of a breakdown of the signs and their personality. I also recommend going to a real live bookstore. I know it's been a while, but if you can find a local store in your community or head over to Barnes & Noble, I recommend going and finding the New Age section, going to the astrology part of it, and let yourself just intuitively be guided to an astrology book. I find that that's the best way. When I was really learning more and more and I just couldn't get enough of astrology, I would go to the bookstore, I would go to the section, and I would just sit and let the books come to me. So for astrology, it's really important to find an author and a print that really speaks to you and your soul. So go somewhere live if you can and find the book that is really just calling out to you, and you'll know that that's the one. Now, some people also want to know, well, okay, I've got a better understanding of astrology and who I am, but how do you do horoscopes? How do you know the energy of today? Well, the way that that works is essentially every day, the sun, the moon, and the planets are always moving around our zodiac wheel. Yes, the zodiac is in a circle, starting with Aries, moving all the way around to Pisces. And so the sun, the moon, the planets are all traveling through the zodiac wheel. And when you're born, we take a screenshot of where everything was. And that's how we get an understanding of who you are and where you're going. Now, if you want to know your current reality, we'll do the same thing. We take a screenshot of the current day. We see where the planets are, we see where the sun and the moon are positioned, and it gives us a better understanding of how our day is going to go. Just like when you check the weather to see if it's raining and you need an umbrella, checking the astrology forecast also gives you a better intel how your day is going to go and how you can be more prepared. Now, again, it's something that is going to take a little bit of time to understand, but if you start to adapt it on a daily basis and start to familiarize yourself with it, the more and more it's going to catch on. Now, what I use is this bad boy. I can't say it right, but it's the New American Ephemeris, maybe. And it's a pretty heavy text. This is essentially giving me the transits of the planets from the year 2000 to the year 2100. And if you can see the pages, they're pretty heady here. Okay, there's a lot of numbers and symbols, and it may seem a little bit overwhelming. So what I recommend, if you're not quite at this place yet, is to pick up an astrology calendar. So you can buy a lunar calendar. I like this one a lot. If you go to the blog, you'll see a link for it. I got it on Amazon. And it gives a current forecast for every day of the month for the current year. So this is for 2017. And what I love is every month, I opened to Leo, that's me. It gives a little horoscope of what's going on. It gives you your good days and your bad days. And then for every day of the month, it gives a little mini forecast. So you can understand, okay, this planet is here and it's squaring off against this one. And it kind of gives you a nice way to ease into the current astrological reality. So that's another way that you can tap into astrology. I also love using other things too. For example, my friends at Energy Muse create crystal kits for your sign. So this one's for me since I'm a Leo, and in it has pyrite, tiger's eye, black onyx, and carnelian. And so I have this beautiful little pouch that represents all of the different crystals that are in alignment to my sign. So I keep them up on my altar. I use them during my meditation. If there's something that I'm working on, or if it's my birthday, you better be sure that these are going to be close by. So check out Energy Muse to get crystals as well. And as I mentioned earlier, astrology is an intuitive science. It is something that grows with you in time. So the more that you embrace the stars, the more that you embrace the 12 signs and are open to the current reality of their transits, the more it's just going to start to sink in, the more it's going to start to make sense, and the more you're going to say, wow, I do understand this language. This is a completely foreign text to me initially, but the more I do it, the more it kind of makes sense. There's a flow, there's a feeling, and you can enhance your understanding through there. So go over to my blog and you'll be able to get all the links to the books and the tools that I listed here. I also recommend, if you're really curious about astrology, is to get a reading, to sit down with an astrologer like myself and go through your birth chart, go through who you were when you were born, go through what it is that you're here to do, and then have a better sense of how you're going to evolve from that point forward. So a really beautiful way to really understand astrology is to get to know your own chart. And I recommend, you can sit down and teach yourself, but why not have someone guide you through it? Why not have someone that is a teacher in the craft and the art of it to sit down with you and then use that as a foundation to continue your astrological learning from there? So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what your favorite astrological resources are, or if you use one of mine and love it. I would love to hear from you. Just comment below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.